Have you ever wondered, why is there so much diversity among humans? If you go back to the source of all said diversity, you would find it begins with a recognizable double helix of DNA, made from nucleotides composed of sugar, phosphate, and the correct pairings of 4 bases, the bases being a set series of ATCG on one strand and their complement TAGC on the other. The gene, a stretch of DNA that tells the body to make a protein, would be transcribed to an intermediate RNA and then be interpreted by a cellular translator, a ribosome, into an amino acid. Multiple amino acids then would link together to form a protein. DNA is read in 3-letter fragments, so a gene composed of ACT, CCG, AAA, CGG would be read ACT, CCG, AAA, CGG, each 3-letter code giving an amino acid. But wait, we're more than just proteins. True, but it's proteins that are coded for by the genome, and proteins that aid in every cellular process. Also, if all diversity stems from DNA, and there are only 4 variables, how then is all this diversity possible? It's from the way these 4 letters are paired and arranged. Think of the alphabet. 26 letters yields a dictionary filled with 250,000 words, and those words, arranged in various ways, yields a seemingly infinite amount of sentences, paragraphs, essays, and books available. DNA works the same way. To determine how much variation is possible, we'll look at 2 proteins, tufsin and titin, the shortest and longest known proteins in the human body, at 4 and 34,350 amino acids each, respectively. Each amino acid is the interpretation from a combination of 3 of the 4 bases. So with 4 bases arranged in 3 possible ways, 64 amino acids are possible. With 4 amino acids coding for tufsin and 34,350 maximum amino acids coding for titin, this gives 64 to the 4, 64 to the 5, 64 to the 6, and so on, giving the total possible number of proteins that can be made by the human body. But I've been fibbing a little. Some of the 64 combinations actually yield the same amino acid when interpreted by the ribosome. Humans only have 20 amino acids, so 20 to the 4, 20 to the 5, and so on. Both the numbers are so enormous that we need to compare it to something we know. For example, the largest meaningful number is 10 to the 80. The total number of atoms in existence, and the number of possible proteins dwarfs that. So how then to understand the diversity present in Homo sapien? Consider what it means to be diverse. 6 million years of human evolution, selecting the most able to survive, and yet we are still not perfect. A single incorrect pairing of DNA code could result in a flawed protein, yielding a ceased function in the body, giving an early death. That's why diversity is there. A near infinite number of ways to construct proteins that will aid and carry out body functions ensures the survival of at least one member of our species. Diversity is the means by which we as a species survive, but more so, diversity is the means by which we as a species thrive. Humans are a species that have visited nearly every known area on the planet, in, on, and above, being ubiquitous because of our diversity. But unfortunately, diversity is also man's fatal flaw. The 4 letters making up the book of life have given men cause for black against white, immigrant against non-immigrant, rich against poor. And why? Their genome coded for increased melanin production, their area of the world favored a genome coding for thinner eyes, their genome added an extra chromosome. Human diversity should not be the reason why children drown at sea, or men are beheaded, or people blown up. From the fire bombings of churches in the civil rights era to the attacks on Paris, there have been those who would do people harm because of their differing appearance, and even those who would see their victims shut out. Rather, the reason mankind has endured and will continue to endure should be the reason that we are one. 4 simple letters in every man, woman, and child, from every nation, language, and creed, are why we are one.